and welcome. I'm Jade of Jaded Reader, and today I'm doing my Q&A. Okay, I admit this is probably my second or third time filming this. I found out while reading your questions I'm incredibly boring, so I'm going to liven this up in any way I can find, as well as putting this into 2 parts, so you're not listening to me talk for 30 minutes. So I am going to start the questions, and here we go. What are your 3 favorite movies? Off the top of my head, I'm gonna go with Labyrinth, Empire Strikes Back, and the Kill Bill duology, because those are awesome. My little sister asked, do you love me? Yes, I do, very much. BB-8 or R2-D2? I'm gonna go with BB-8. Who are your favorite characters? My book favorite characters are gonna be Sarai from Strange the Dreamer, Ari from the Kingkiller Chronicles, and I will always love Hermione Granger. If you were a superhero, what powers would you have? I would have the power to read minds or be invisible. It would make ruining Christmas much, much easier. What book or series got you into reading in the first place? I originally had a lot of trouble with reading because of my dyslexia. They didn't know I had dyslexia, so I kind of given up on reading. However, I really enjoyed when my mom would read Harry Potter to me, and when I couldn't have Harry Potter read to me on my own terms, I picked up Junie B. Jones and started actually practicing reading, and over time, through Junie B. Jones, I was able to read Harry Potter. So those 2, I guess, would be my answer. I still have the intro of Junie B. Jones, like, forever in my head. What lessons did you learn from the books you read this year? What is a book that has taught you the most or inspired you most this year? I feel like this year was a lot about me regaining my confidence in myself and caring about myself again, and where my stances are as far as feminism go. And a book that I read this year that definitely helped concrete my feelings was Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis. This book will shake you, but it'll be the earthquake that you didn't know you needed. If you could make one book character come to life, who would it be and why? How am I gonna make the world a better place? I am going to go with Jupiter North from the Nevermore series. He's wonderful and empathetic and kind and such an excellent advocate and mentor to Morrigan Crow. I think that to have him in our world would be a blessing. What are some of your favorite TV shows? My cartoon TV shows in order are Avatar: The Last Airbender, Dragon Ball Z, and Adventure Time. For live action shows, I'm going to go with Game of Thrones, Downton Abbey, and Mad Men. What's a book that has a large emotional impact on you? A book or series that had a large emotional impact on me positively was The Raven Boys from the Raven Cycle series. I started this at a time I was feeling really, really low, probably the lowest of my life, and while the series didn't take those feelings away, I was able to feel fully transported into their world and leave my own for a while. A book that had a negative emotional impact on me was The Price Guide to the Occult by Leslie Walton. I read this at the exact same time as I was reading the Raven Cycle series, and due to all the cutting and suicide that I feel was kind of brushed over and not dealt with well, along with not having enough triggers attached to it, I did not have a good experience or any positive emotional impact while reading this book. Do I have a favorite children's book, and if so, what is it? 2 books I remember really well as a kid was Stella Luna and Verde. If you could switch 2 fictional characters from a book to another, which one would you choose and where would you send them? Okay, so there's 2 books, 2 characters, and I'm switching them. I'm going to switch up the 2 Guineveres from Queen of Camelot and Mists of Avalon. Both of these books are 2 of my favorite takes on Arthurian legend, but every time I read Mists of Avalon, I really wish that the Guinevere in it was better. I think that Guinevere and Morgan Le Fay are really pitted against each other, and I think that they would be an amazing duo. However, in Queen of Camelot, Guinevere is such a strong, dynamic, interesting character, so I'm just gonna take this Guinevere out and have a phenomenal story over here. If you could be a dino, which would you be? Dino as in dinosaur, which I have an irrational actual phobia of. Pretty deathly afraid of dinosaurs. I have been since I was very little. I have recurring nightmares, I get shakes, and I start doing weird things with my hands apparently. So if I'm going to be a dinosaur, I'm going with a Tyrannosaurus Rex because it is my worst nightmare, and I'd rather be my worst nightmare than have to deal with my worst nightmare. In that case, I'd only have to be afraid of my peers, and that doesn't sound so bad. What are some of your unpopular opinions? Which popular book did you not like, you DNF'd or unhauled? Angela came for the tea. I have disliked popular books, and I have unhauled them. 3 books that come to mind that I've unhauled and didn't like is Ironheart, Throne of Glass, and The Price Guide to the Occult. Throne of Glass is probably the biggest one that I know is an unpopular opinion, and I did finish it, and I plan on actually continuing the second one, but I really didn't like the first one. Like, that did not grab me. And as far as me DNFing books, I actually will sometimes put books down quite often because of the stigma on not finishing a book. I don't often like call it a DNF because I'm just setting it down versus putting it down and throwing it away. What book are you most excited for in 2019? I am most excited for King of Scars. I have it pre-ordered. I'm hoping that Amazon makes a mistake and gives it to me early. While the Grishaverse wasn't my favorite trilogy of all time by any stretch, I do believe that she really hit her stride of Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, and I'm excited to see her revisit the Grishaverse with that momentum. If you could prevent any fictional character's death, whose would it be? I will go with one of the major deaths in Order of the Phoenix from Harry Potter. I'm not going to say who it is because there are still plenty of people who watch my videos and have not yet read Harry Potter, so I'm not going to say who it is, but I can say I almost DNF'd the series, and the year that the next book came out, I had to wait in a very long line because I did not pre-order or anything like that at Barnes & Noble, and I was terrified I wasn't going to get the next book. What is your favorite Star Wars character, and between Star Wars and Harry Potter, which one is your favorite series? My favorite Star Wars characters are Kit Fisto and Obi-Wan Kenobi. I adore them both for very separate reasons. Obi-Wan Kenobi is like the pinnacle of like what I want in a Jedi, and I just am in love with Kit Fisto. It's an inappropriate care for Kit Fisto, whereas my love for Obi-Wan Kenobi is pure. As far as which one is my favorite between Harry Potter and Star Wars, that's a really hard question. Okay, alright, I've thought about it. I'm going to go with Star Wars, but that is only because I have so much information in my head about Star Wars. I can tell you right now that the two suns of Tatooine are Tatooine 1 and Tatooine 2, and that there are 3 moons. There's Guru Mesa, Gomrasin, and Chanini. I have too much information of Star Wars in my head. I can't let that go to waste, so I'm gonna make it my favorite because the world and universe is so expansive and there's so much lore in it that while Harry Potter is a tight, nice, solid universe, I could spend the rest of my life trying to figure out all of Star Wars' secrets. Whew, that was hard. Like, I was trembling trying to think about whether I like Star Wars or Harry Potter more. If you could go on an adventure with 5 book characters, who would be in your team? I love Ronan Lynch, but he's not going on my adventure. He could be quite the downer. Cloth from the Kingkiller Chronicles, honestly, because he could probably get the job done all by himself, but I'll add 4 more characters. Alana Trebon from the Lioness Quartet. Gansey from the Raven Cycle, because I think he will keep us on track and focused. He's very goal-oriented. He always finishes his journeys. 5. Gloria. It's always good to have a scholar and a reader on your journey besides me, who reads fantasy and would be of no use on this journey. So I will go with Laszlo Strange from Strange the Dreamer. And for some comedic effect, you always need a creature on your journey. I'm going with Furion from The Girl Who Drank the Moon. If you were a color, which would you be? I'd be a very light violet purplish blue color. If you follow me on Twitter, my Twitter profile got pretty close favorite color, and I definitely feel like that's the color I would be. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? I would be more concise and a little less lazy. While I do like goals and I try and keep goal-oriented, that's pretty much just from getting me out of bed. I can sleep all day if nobody stops me and I don't have a list or something to do. I will laze in bed, I will play video games, I'll read, I'll do anything but something productive outside in the world. I would make myself a little less lazy and I'd make my to-do list a little easier to manage. If you could marry one book, Jupiter North. Sorry, that one's an easy answer for me. I'm in love with Jupiter North. How do you choose your books? I choose my books pretty much based off of the cover, and then once the cover has caught my eye, I will read the synopsis. My other way of finding out if I like a book or not is if a booktuber recommends a book. If it's recommended a lot, or if I really trust that person's opinion, then I will definitely put that book on my Goodreads TBR and I'll come back to it later. Do you usually go for hardbacks or paperbacks? I really like hardbacks. I think that they are more durable, they last longer, they look nice on shelves, but I have absolutely nothing against paperbacks. Some of my favorite series are in paperback and I don't have any intention of getting the hardcover. My shelves are definitely mixed. I just like the entire series to be in hardcover and matching, or in paperback and matching. See this? This is my worst nightmare. Thank you, publishers. What sci-fi fantasy book should I start with? While I do adore the Illuminae files, I'm gonna give it out to graphic novels. The mixed media format of Illuminae can be a little hard to handle if it's your first sci-fi book. I prefer to consume my sci-fi in graphic novel form because you'll get wonderful moments where you get a grasp of the technology, the different species that you're going to come across, and who doesn't love beautiful pictures of space? So 3 of my sci-fi graphic novels that I would pull you towards are Saga, which is an adult graphic novel and can get very graphic graphic both in gore and sexual content. Descender, which is just an amazing, solid sci-fi that has a lot of technology and AI robots and a conspiracy. And the standalone Afar, which mixes a lot of science fiction and magic as she goes through space and is transported to other planets. So I hope that was at least a little bit useful. What book do you wish you could read for the first time again? Not original, not even gonna try, it's Harry Potter. I remember reading Harry Potter for the first time and it being read to me and being absolutely riveted. However, I would love to read it right now as an adult and have it feel like the first time. I don't want it to be my actual first time, I want it to feel like the first time. What is your favorite boy band? I was never into boy bands. I know, I sucked. I was like into Metallica, which I mean is a band of boys. Pantera, Disturbed. A band of boys that I'm currently into and have been into since like high school is Asian Kung Fu Generation, and that's another band of boys, so I'll go with those. Tell us some fun stories about your family and tell us what you do for a living. It's easy for me to tell you what I do for a living because I go to school. I'm going to college to go to preschool because I'd love to be a preschool teacher. I used to be the lead teacher of a preschool, but after having my pride hurt and being turned down for a promotion, I went back to school. Eventually, I'd like to own my own preschool or work in some capacity with kids because I absolutely love them. They are when I'm most comfortable. And a funny story. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I am a sucker for horror flicks. The cheesier, gorier, the better. So my dad and I have always watched scary movies, whether it be winter, summer, spring, or fall. We love watching B-flick horror films, and we will just sit there and watch just one cheesy, terrible, scary movie after another and rate it. And we've been doing this since I was very little. And I guess it's funny because nobody expects me to like horror films as much as I do, but I will sit there and watch them with my dad for hours. Evil Dead is my favorite one though. That's not cheesy, that's a cult classic. Do you ever listen to music while you read? No, especially if it has words. It's really hard for me to concentrate on the words on the page. Honestly, if I'm listening to music, I'm not able to focus and I have to try much harder to read, so no music for me while reading. Though I love listening to playlists after the fact. Like, I love when people make playlists for books. It's really cool. If you could meet one character from any book, who would you choose? I think I would choose Gansey from the Raven Cycle series because I'd love to talk to someone about Arthurian legend as much as I love Arthurian legend, and he seems like that might be up his alley. Okay, so I'm cutting it off here. This is part 1 of 2 Q&A sessions, so I hope you're enjoying the sun or more stars wherever you are, and until tomorrow when I upload the next one, bye! I was having a really hard time cutting down my rambling while still keeping everything in context. Even right now, this is a problem. Oh, what is your name, child? What is your name? My name is Junie B. Jones. The B stands for Beatrice, but I don't like Beatrice. I just like B, and that's all. Cloth from the King Killer That's a hard one to say, because honestly, he'd probably get the A weird, embarrassing story I can come up with is when my grandma told us to not pee in the pool because she'd put a new chemical in, and if we peed in the pool, it would turn pink. I apparently responded that it wasn't working, to which she responded, stop peeing in the pool. Get off of me! Stop it, you little pest! That's not a funny story, that's an embarrassing one. I'm not telling that story. Stay. I'm trying to show you off. Oh, BB. I'll put it in the bloopers, that's fair. Then I'm being authentic. That was the first story to come off the top of my head. However, it's not the one I want to share.